Somebody saw Argylle here today, and this movie's been getting just trashed
Oh
on
man,
the internet.
no.
I saw your
Culture.
review. Culture.
I wanted to ask your feelings real quick before we break into the super chats and main story.
So I always start all my reviews with I saw a movie, so you didn't have to, and then I kind of like will lead with one way or the other at the beginning. And this is one I'm going to tell everybody you're going to decide for yourself. Look, I mean, I can understand why people are having such a negative take on it, but I can understand why people are enjoying it. It is a dumb, fun film. It's not going to make the numbers that they need it to. They wanted to build a film franchise off it. It's based on an idea that somebody writes something and it seems to be corresponding with what has actually been happening in the real world. It's all about a spy that's a work of fiction, but not. And the entire film and the way it's presented to the audience through the trailers is just it's a lie. I mean, it's not a mean lie. They're not doing it on purpose. It's just they kind of have to hide the game from you. And by the time you get to the third act, I think the audience gets exhausted with the amount of twists and turns and everything else. And it was just too long. It needed to be cut 5 to 10 minutes at the end. The very last element was unnecessary and had to give somebody a heroic moment for zero reason. I think that was the thing that kind of set me on a lower score trajectory. Overall, it's not as much a Cavill project as it is a group effort, and they in a lot of ways they leaned into the wrong character. But if you like Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile mixed with a spy film, and maybe a couple of other things, and if you really like Sam, you're going to enjoy this film. That's it.
I'm not sure what people were expecting because, like, from the trailers, it kind of looked like they took the concept of the, Romancing the Stone when not Sharon Stone, the hell's her name? Kathleen
Turner.
Yeah. When she's having like her fantasies, like it felt like that was kind of like the movie, but it was just that's the movie instead of it being like a real world event happening at the same time. It was just all these fantasy elements.
Yeah, and there's a healthy amount of that. I mean, as the author, I'm going to give away a little of the story. As an author who is Bryce Dallas Howard, she's the author writing these books. And at the very beginning in the bookstore, they say, well, everybody who's writing these books is, turns out to be a spy or whatever. So, there's kind of a, that kind of a thing, premise set up in this. But if you like, Sam Rockwell, he is the best thing about this movie.
I love Sam Rockwell.
He's awesome.
And he gets to be very Sam Rockwell in this film, except with a more adult tone. And if you're looking for there to be masculinity, it's on display. But there's some ridiculous leanings into some, female power stuff that you go, I'm not buying that completely. Regardless, if you turn your brain off, this film, the only
don't advertise people to turn their brain off culture. Come on.
Well, the only it's true. The only thing that this film truly brings is just dumb fun. And if you walk in there and looking for that, you're gonna have a good time. If you liked the original Kingsman film, you're going to like this. In fact, this is related to the Kingsman. I'm not going to give away why. There is a end credits scene that is just inside the beginning of the end credits. So if you can tolerate 2 more minutes of the main names running by in front of your face, you'll get to see a scene that leads into the idea that they have to make this a franchise set of films. But it sounds like Henry Cavill doesn't expect it to be, because he says it depends on film, the reaction of the audience. And I'm thinking, unfortunately, they're not going to get the numbers that they need to make this a franchise, but we'll see.
So you're saying it shares continuity with Kingsman? Like, I'm not terribly surprised, given that
I'm going to say there is definitely an allusion to Kingsman at the very end. So yeah. Oh, and one of the beautiful visual effects that you'll see towards the end of this film, you're going to recognize from a Kingsman film.
Do all the cast members eat at a shawarma place at the very end?
No, it is not the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
But it is a great
Joss Whedonisms.
It's a great. No, there isn't any Josh Whedonisms, but there is. Like I said, there's a great cast here, and I mean, if you can ignore I know a lot of people like Dua Lipa. I think that's just no. But I mean, if there are a couple people, if you can ignore, you're going to have a great time.
Happy to ignore Dua Lipa.
Yeah. So I'm like you said, this film falls right in the middle of the scale for me, or slightly better. It's a better than the current average film, which isn't high praise, but it is better than the current average film. So.
No, I understand completely.
Well, Mr. H and Force of Light looked like they enjoyed it, but everybody else didn't seem to like it so much.
It's very harsh. I mean, if people are looking for a message about girl power, they're going to find it. It just wasn't the prevailing thing in the film.
Well, I wonder, and that's why I asked about, like, I wonder what people are expecting, because, like, I wonder if people are going in expecting, like, a funny 007 or, like, another Kingsman.
Well, and again,
like I said, from the trailers, I definitely could tell this was, like I said, the romancing the stone bit, but just expanded into an entire movie.
Well, and that's the other problem, right? Is initially when this was offered as a teaser in the first trailer that came out that we saw, we were like, "Oh, Henry Cavill project, fantastic! He gets to be funny and, spoof a spy." Well, that's not what it is. I mean, it's just
Sandra Bullock movie was also a romancing the stone. Borrower.
Yeah, it's in that same vein, actually. To be fair, so it's like turn your brain off. It's good fun, Script says.
I get where Script's saying you shouldn't, but look, sometimes I like to be able to just sit down and not think. Yeah. Like I just watched The Bourne Identity for the first time since it came out, because I hated it when it first came out. But this time I found myself being able to just kind of chill and not have to overthink everything, because the movie does all the thinking for me.
I'm one person who did not like the Bourne Identity movies.
I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but this time out, I was like, maybe it's just because shit's so bad now. I'm like, you know what? This was actually not that bad. It was like, yeah, it was kind of enjoyable. I didn't have to think too much. It's like, that's what I understand when culture's like turn your brain off kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the Bourne films is it gave us two bad things. One, it gave us
shaky cam.
A shaky cam. Thank you. That's the first thing. But the second thing is the up close fight scene where you can't really see if anything's happening.
Well, especially in Bourne Supremacy, from what I've been noticing. I shut that one off about
the Atomic Blonde fight scenes were better than in the Bourne movies.
That's
I didn't mean to derail this, but my point was sometimes it's fun to just be able to kind of chill and not think too hard.
And that's why, like you said, I mean, I put this in the same category as probably Mr. H is going to, which is dumb fun. Go in there with dumb fun, and it'll be fine. This one is, I was equally balanced on saying you can watch this on streaming or you can watch it in a theater. If you're looking for, wow, Sander.
I wouldn't have been upset if I accidentally watched The Bourne Identity, probably.
Yeah. But no, if you go in there, like I said, and this is an equally matched film. So you can see it on streaming and be like, oh, well, that was an interesting distraction. Or you can go and if you're looking for something to do out in the world, then this is an interesting distraction, possibly.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you for your quick review on that culture. We appreciate that. KN Kareen sends in 499, says, Argylle is a bait and switch, was so mad. How can they make this ugly pale botch the star and not Dua Lipa? Oh, so she's upset that
how can they make Bryce Dallas Howard, who can act, the star and not Dua Lipa, who can't?
Yeah, Dua Lipa is. I mean, I understand why people like her. Kareen, you and I are not going to agree. She doesn't have a talent for acting, which shows actually in just in the few minutes she was in it.
Well, and Kareen goes on. Go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, then she adds with another 499 super chat. Henry Cavill is not star. I don't know why they lied to us. Sam Rockwell was great, but he was a star. Either dumbass movie. So mad. Oh, she's upset by it.
She's right to be angry. I said it in my review, and the thumbnail on my review says it all. It's a lie. It's all a lie. That's the weirdest thing about this film, right? But for whatever reason, separate your preferences from what you would have expected from this film. If you take it for what it is, it's a mid-level, average, maybe slightly better than average film. Again, if you turn your brain off. But the problem is, and there are films that suffer from this, and Script can probably point, and probably Paul, to a whole litany of them, where there are too many twists. The audience is exhausted from trying to accept all the changes in direction. So yeah, that's what it is. So you're right in many senses, but Dua Lipa was always going to be an also ran in this film. And let me tell you, the end of this movie could have been chopped 10 minutes and not given us the end that we got. They could have just ended it where it should have naturally ended. But if you're going in here expecting to see Cavill, don't.
Yeah.
I mean, not in that sense.
I mean, the second bigger, the official trailer that they ran basically told you that. I mean, the first teaser one was the what you could argue is the bait and switch. It's this is the Henry Cavill spy film. But
Severely
the joke is that it's far more than that. It's actually Bryce Dallas Howard and I'm forgetting his name right now, Sam Rockwell, who it's more their movie, or at least that's how they're.
That is the bait and switch compared to the trailers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the second trailer was more about that. The first teaser was the bait and switch, so to speak.
Well, and like I said, I didn't really even watch but like one or two trailers, and I already knew the idea of it was this fantasy element, kind of like a la Romancing the Stone. So I am not sure where people. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's
Maybe
an unfair thing.
Well.
Yeah, that may be just that I saw the right trailer. But again, that's obviously a failure on the.
I obviously saw the wrong trailer because I haven't. I only saw that one trailer that looked amazing, and the movie you're describing is a complete bait.
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. The trailer I saw would have been, I think, before whatever movie it was I saw before Godzilla, I think. And I think that was the one where I got this idea that, yeah, basically this is like a Romancing the Stone, but you're just expanding on the fantasy element and not actually having a real life adventure going along with it. Mr. Tickle Trunk sends in a $2 Canadian buckaroos and says, the more CC talks about Argylle, the more I want to see it. Well, there you go. You got one person you've already sold on the film. Mr. Tickle Trunk also sends in another toonie. What?
I'm not trying to sell it to anybody. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, you don't have to try to succeed.
It's a turn off your brain. It's a popcorn movie. That's what he wants. Yeah. See?
Okay, fine. Because look, don't blame your $11 loss on me if you get frustrated.
Then we're moving on to the Rumble side of things, where Mr. Tickle Trunk sent us $2 for why is Cultured Casino talking up Argylle so much? Yeah, damn, you did an amazing job selling it. I mean, Henry Cavill needs to.
I wasn't trying to sell it. I was trying to tell you this is an average film, slightly above what we have been expecting for the last 6 to 9 years.
That's called marketing.
You convinced some people.
And then we got a couple of super chats real quick from Mr. Tickle Trunk. Says in $2 Canadian, says, so I shouldn't see Argylle. Make up your mind, CC.
Okay. Well, what do you want me to say? It is a 50.
I'll see Argylle. Oh my God.
Every studio should hire you as their salesperson from now on, especially this.
He is a good salesman.
Yeah, without even trying.
He could get me into a car without any candy.
Yeah.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.